Good morning, good people. Today is Saturday, July 20th, 2024. Here we are at G.school. It is about 6 o'clock, just before 6 o'clock in the morning on a somewhat humid Saturday. Let's see, what does it say here? Let's see our weather forecast. It's 80 degrees, feels like 81. And let's see what the humidity is. Humidity, 31%. Wow, 31%. Okay, but here we are. Today is G.school. So this is Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help you through this life, this transcendent life, or we have a transcendent soul, this life that is not the end. In fact, that's what we're going to talk about today. Is this all there is? Is this it? We're born, a whole bunch of stuff happens to us, and then we die. Is that it? So we're going to talk about that. But here we are at G.school, where our purpose is to help you through this life. And we do it mainly through the worksheet down below. However, the podcast is very important too, because it helps you create better habits. By what? By replacing not as good habits with better habits. By using new habits, better habits to replace old habits. How do we replace habits, or what is a habit? It's unconscious behavior. It's like brushing your teeth, tying your shoes. Your brain is thinking about something else, but you're doing this, playing the piano, right? You can do something non-consciously, like driving the car. You can do something very well non-consciously as you're consciously doing something else. So that's a thing to develop. Habit. And one way to create habit, probably the best way to create habit, is, or the most common way at least, is through repetition. Repetition. And repetition comes from making something part of your routine. Okay. So Matticus von Atticus has joined us. I don't remember where Wadabevi's going to be, but so that's why we are here to help you. So we've got the worksheet, which is the main thing in 4 areas: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Okay, Wadabevi is there. Bueno, buen yes. I don't say bueno, I say buen yes. Good yes, not good no. Buen yes, okay. Or you could say beignets. So here we are once again, deja vu all over again. All right, so this is G.school. So Monday through Friday, we mainly focus on the physical, mental, and emotional things to help you move from where you are to someplace better. Saturday and Sunday, we focus on G.school because we have this belief that we have a transcendent soul, number one. Number two, what you do now has an impact on what happens later. So if you're not good now, definitely not good later. Especially when the Creator becomes incarnate and he says, this is all you have to do. There's 2 simple things. Just do these things. That's all you have to do. Love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Love one another as I have loved you. Be willing to lay down your life for someone else. Because he who gives up his life will get life. The last shall be first, the first shall be last. Blessed are the meek. Is this all there is? Okay, that's what we're going to talk about. But a little bit of news update. Yesterday, I had the good fortune of going to the Las Vegas Aviators AAA baseball game with a bunch of guys. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun seeing a game AAA is definitely different than Major League. There's a big gap between the players. Let's see, what would I say? The average pay, I think, or the median pay for a AAA baseball player is something like $50-some thousand a year. And the median pay for a Major League Baseball player is 1-point-something million. The average is 4 million. So, yeah, big difference between being a AAA and majors. So that was a lot of fun, but it was a long day. We had to meet at the Nugget at 4:30, left at 5. Let's see, we got down there at whatever time we got down there. I think we left the stadium at like 9:30, the 8th inning. And then, I don't know, probably got back around 11. Certainly well after 10:30. And anyway, that's it for me. And today had a lot of, yesterday was a very busy, active day. Got a bunch of new furniture stuff, moved it in, see how it goes. And what else? Okay, not sure. But, so our meme of today, being homeless in Raleigh versus being homeless in Vegas was like going from AAA to Major League. Big difference. Right. I wonder what it would be like. How would you compare being homeless in Raleigh versus homeless in Pahrump or Pahrump, Kentucky? Okay, our meme for today. Is this all there is? So this is kind of an interesting take. So let me give the disclaimer. G.school is not for people who are saved or successful. G.school is really designed for the non-believers. All we're trying to do is get you pointed to Jesus, to the Creator incarnate. That's all we're trying to do. We're not trying to take the role of the pastors in the churches. We're not trying to take that role. We're not trying to go deep. Just trying to get you focused, looking in the right direction. So when somebody says forward, we know where they're going. Okay, so if you're already saved, hoorah, hooyah, hooah for you. Good for you. You can just disregard this, or you can choose to say, you know what, I'm going to imagine that I'm a non-believer. See what it's like to be a non-believer, where I have this void in my heart. I'm going to take God, Jesus out of my heart, put it over there. I know where it is. I'm not going to lose it. I'm going to put it back in later. I'm going to choose to go through an exercise like that to see how these other people feel. And then maybe afterwards, when I plug this back in, I'll have a bit more compassion and be willing to go out to the margins, not to make them different, but to make me different. Because to get that we are all one, to go help those whose burdens are more than they can bear, so that we stop throwing people away. That would be the message to the Board of County Commissioners up here. We need to stop throwing people away. And there's biblical things about that. Jesus said, what did he say? Something about you helped me when I was in prison, when I had no clothes, when I had nothing to eat, when I had nothing to drink, when I was sick, and you helped me. All of these things, when you help me, that's when you showed me you love me. And people say, well, when were you ever sick? When were you in prison? I said, well, when the least of me was that. The least of us was that. That was me. So, all right. So anyway, let's get into it. Is this all there is? It seems to me we're kind of conditioned to look on the bright side. Disregard the negatives. Look on the bright side. Have hope. Have hope. Yeah, that kind of sucks, but you know, I've had some good days too. we tend to take this much bad plus this much good. We say, you know what, my life isn't really that bad. Why? Because I'm focused on the good. But let's for a minute focus on the other side, and say, we look at the bad and we say, is this all there is to life? Is this bad plus this not bad? Is that all there is? You live, or you're born, a whole bunch of stuff happens, and you die. Is that it? Is that it? So we should say, no, that's not it. It doesn't even make sense. If that was it, then that means there is no God. Right? Because if it's we live or we're born, a whole bunch of stuff happens and we die, that doesn't leave any room for God. Is this all there is? If you're homeless, you're living in the park, you're scrambling, you're doing all of the things you can to pay your bills and stay above water, ask yourself, is this all there is? And this applies to like 99% of the people in Pahrump. You could say, is this all there is? I sacrificed my life. I got my pension. I got my whatever, Social Security. I'm living up here. It's hot. It's windy. They have poof dirt. There's not a lot of stuff to do. A lot of negative people. Is this all there is? And the answer has to be no. This is not all there is. In fact, this isn't really important. It's how I respond to it that's important. And that takes us back to, if we don't have a transcendent soul, why are we alive? Well, it's a gift. So that's a lot of things we hear. It's a gift. We're saved by grace and grace alone. It's a gift. We can't earn it. It's a gift. We didn't earn our life. We're born. And we're born with the cards we're dealt. We're born with the genes we have. We're born into the community we're born into. We don't have much choice as to where we are born, what are the circumstances we are born into. We don't have a choice about that. But we do have an opportunity to do something about it. And President Lincoln would be a good example of that. So, is this all there is? I say the answer is no. This is not all there is. And thus, this isn't really that important. If you're dealt a bad hand, so what? It's how you play the hand. It's not about complaining about the hand. It's how you play the hand. And so many times, starting with John 3:16, whoever believes in him shall have everlasting life. I and the Father are one. Whoever follows my commandments can be one with the Father and I. How much more obvious do you need it to be? This is not all there is. So take the suffering, accept it, getting that the way you play the hand is going to have an impact later. And I would further venture to say that Jesus was right when he said it's harder for a rich man to get into heaven than it is for a camel to pass through the eye of the needle. It's not impossible, it's harder. Well, the more stuff you have, the more temptations you have. The harder it is to love God with all your heart, mind, and soul when you're also worshiping stuff. It's hard to do that, to love one another as I have loved you when they have nothing and you have stuff. Hard. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they who are, something about spirit, lacking in spirit, or, they're not believers. Why? Because all they have to do is become believers. If you're a believer, you have all these other problems, like, I'm already saved. Hoorah! I don't need to worry about anything because I'm already saved. Well, how does that reconcile with love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love one another as I have loved you? If you're already saved and you have an attitude of I'm already saved, why do anything else? You're saved. Okay? But that's not what Jesus said. What's this for? Can't do it by looking in the refers. Okay, so we're at 15 minutes in. Let's think about that today. Is this all there is? And if you come to the conclusion it's not all there is, then you should ask yourself, well, does it make sense that how I do now will have an impact on what happens next? Right? And then hopefully you can get to the point that this stuff isn't really important. That as fun as it was to go to the game last night, wasn't important. Was no more important and could have been worse because what did I take my eye off of? Right. Maybe one of the 2 commandments. Right. I might have become covetous when I was at the game. Wow, I wish I had that car. Wish I had that. Wish I had. Wish. So, anyhow, anyway, let's see. One of the dogs had. More trouble. More trouble with tribbles. This reminds me of Star Trek. Tribbles. The trouble with tribbles. Okay, so we're going to call it a day, 16 minutes in. Got to get on the Zip Peloton. Going to Las Vegas today. Have important meetings. And we shall overcome. This is not all there is. LOL, your reaction. Aha! Well, is this all there is? No. This dog who's in that, who should not be there, had puppies. Wow. Okay, what a bevy. When are you leaving? When are you heading north? When are you heading north? This is not all there is. And if this is not all there is, am I doing everything I can to best prepare for what comes next? Am I showing, in my heart and in my deeds and actions, am I doing everything I can to demonstrate, not to demonstrate, but to do? Love God with all my heart, mind, soul. 2. And number 2, to love one another as I have loved you. Okay, Monday. Somebody asked me last night, what does Ed do when Ed's not working? Or what does Ed do for himself? It's like, what do you mean? What does Ed do? What do I do? I do what I do. And, well, you got to have balance, man. Hey, man, you got to have balance, man. You can't just do what you do. I was thinking later, I didn't really want to engage. We were at a game. I didn't want to feel I needed to defend myself. But at the game, came to me of, well, what did Jesus do when he was not being Jesus? Oh, I'm going to go line dancing. Yeah, man, we're going to play poker tonight. We're gonna go do that. We're watching Monday Night Football, everybody, because work is done. What does a farmer do? Tell the animals, hey, I'm taking the week off. Take care of yourself, people. No. So anyway, that's it. Thank you for being there. Spread the word. Let us move forward. Let us go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Amen. Amen, everybody. Amen. That's from North Carolina. No, that's from not Georgia. That's from Mississippi.